you fish? No. You know, people who don't fish think that fishing is lazy or boring, but it is the complete opposite. There are 100 little decisions to be made, variables to be considered, and you're never quite sure what made the difference. Did I cast too high, too far to the left? Did I reel it in too slow or too fast? Is the lure too shiny or too dull? Do I stay here or should I go over there? And you know it's not luck, but you do not know by how much. Because I am never disappointed out here, because I don't expect anything, because anything is possible. I can be hopeful out here, even in failure. Because I know if I just go out there around that tree, it might be different. Something might be different. Something I do might make a difference.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up,
Hey everyone, quick little announcement here from Fishing the DMV. Our Weekend Warrior membership on Patreon is nearly full. There are only 28 spots still available. Once these spots are gone, they're gone, and the Weekend Warrior tier will be closed to the general public. All members will be locked in indefinitely at a fantastic price point, and they will get all the benefits that they have today, plus any new benefits and discounts that will be added in the future. All Weekend Warriors will receive 5% off their orders to Jake's Bait and Tackle, 10% off their orders to Tiger Crankbaits, 10% off their orders to Catoctin Creek Rod. They'll also gain access to our private Facebook group community, loads of members-only content. And in 2025, there are going to be tournaments that will be given a massive discount specifically to our Weekend Warrior members. Plus, if you sign up for the year right now, you will get 8% off your already fantastically discounted rate to join the Weekend Warrior program. Link in the episode description. Thank you. And 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, guys, we are live. Let me put that back there. We are live from the Richmond Expo right now, part 2 of this evening. So we're not going to be bringing you 22 hours of content or whatever that crazy number was at Raleigh. I'm going to be spacing out a little bit more. If you guys don't know, we are going to have our meet and greet tomorrow from noon to about 3 to 4 p.m., depending on how many of you guys show up tomorrow. That way, I won't be interviewing everyone under the sun. But today, I have a really good special guest. John, thank you so much for coming. If you could just tell everyone at home your business and what you're doing here.
Yeah. So I'm John Stigler. I'm owner and operator of Snagler Tackle and Guide Service. And where I guide is on the Susquehanna River. I guide on the free-flowing part of the Susquehanna. I've been fishing the river for about 30 years. You know, I've seen a lot of history on the river. I've seen the ups and downs. But what I can tell you about the Susquehanna is, you know, our worst years of fishing is some of the best fishing you'll see in the country. So when it's fishing great, it is fishing spectacular. And I bring people from all over the country to fish that river, you know, and to enjoy it. You know, I have clients from California to North Carolina to Maine. So, and I've just really, you know, after spending 25 years working a professional level job, you know, I'm just really enjoying taking people out, you know, to experience that river smallmouth fishing. I started guiding and started my tackle business also in 2012. And really, my tackle business spurred out of my love for fishing for river smallmouth, but also I like to design things and come up with things, you know, for that. You know, I'm one who is always thinking about the best ways to catch smallmouth. You know, I tell people is that I don't have any other hobbies but this. You know, so. And my dad always told me that the best way to become really good at something was to dedicate your life to it, not to have multiple things to do, you know. So, and I really took that to heart years ago. So that's when I became I put the gun down, don't hunt anymore. Never really was a golfer, you know. I don't even watch sports that much, you know. So I smallmouth fish, and if I'm not out fishing, I'm designing lures and making lures. I make a lot of lures now, you know, and it's all handcrafted stuff. I don't really buy a lot of things, you know, from other manufacturers, you know, other than parts and I do have some guys who pour some lead for me out in Missouri.
Oh, wow.
I'm always looking for small American-made businesses, because I really think that that's important to our industry, because we have seen our industry really move overseas over the years.
Yeah.
And the other part of it is a lot of the people who run these big corporations don't even fish. You know, I read the trader magazines, and I don't really ever see their passion for the fishing, you know, and I'm trying to bring that back. I'm trying to bring back small businesses with the craftsmanship of those people. That's really what it's about, you know, and it really is an advantage to the people who buy my products is I use my stuff. So if I find problems with it, I'm identifying that and making those changes. And I made a lot of subtle changes over the years. One of the things I started doing was I started collecting all this different spinner baits that I made over the years, and saw my progression of where I started out 20 years ago making them for fun, you know, to where I became a business, and now to where I'm at now, where I've become a pretty good business on the river smallmouth lure business.
And we talked before we went live. You, out of college, were thinking about dabbling in fisheries biology, correct?
Yeah, I originally went to school for fishery management. Go
cool.
Buckeyes. When we'll just say that I had a lot of twists and turns in my early youth. You know, I like to have fun when I was younger. So it took me a while to get through school. As I went through school, I ended up with a pre-law and criminal justice, two degrees, pre-law and criminal justice, because I was really thinking about going into as a natural resources officer, or what we call a water conservation officer. By the time I graduated college, I was near 30. So I was kind of getting to the point of where I didn't think that was probably a good career for me. I actually was a meat cutter for 12 years. That's what put me through school. I worked full-time as a meat manager for Sam's Club. And so I kind of came from, the working class, got a college education, and then went into a professional business job of working with people with mental illness. And so I spent 25 years of helping people with mental illness become reintegrated into the communities from state hospitals.
Emotionally, physically, like that's a hard job.
Very hard job for very low pay. And so one of the things I had to do was I had to figure out how to pay for my passion, and because I didn't make a lot of money doing what I was doing, so I decided to start this little business and guide on the side, but it also gave me an opportunity to kind of learn things. And my whole goal was, I wanted to retire early. And so I was building the bones to a business that I could take off when I stepped out of my professional career and into this professional career, because it is a professional career. So this will be my third change in my job in my lifetime. Be my last. My next one will be full retirement that I'll always fish. But yeah, so I did that for 25 years, and I was an administrator for a county department, for county mental health and intellectual disability. So I oversaw all those services.
After COVID, because I was saying this interesting, I've had so many people on the show that the COVID year before or after was when they made the big jump into the fishing industry. When did your business start to really feel like it was getting a consistent rhythm to where, like, I might do this full time?
Well, I always built the bones to it, because when you start a business, there's a lot of moving parts to a business. So for me I've had a career where I've oversaw a lot of employees and had to deal with all that stuff. I didn't want to build a business that was going to be like that. The other part of my business is I'm building the business based on my craftsmanship and my experience. That's a hard thing to pass on to somebody, to have that same level. So my business is really about my passion for the industry, for the river smallmouth fishing. It's not really to build this big company. My plan is in about 10 years is I'll sell the business, and that's going to be my wife and my fund money for us to, we have pensions, so we'll be fine on our day-to-day, but this will be our way for us to pay for our things that we always wanted to do. And so that's really what the purpose of this business. I always have future planning. But like I go back to is when I jumped off 3 years to full time, I saw, it wasn't so much COVID. First I was burnt out with my previous job, but secondly was I saw the the ability to run a business that you didn't have to be super big to be able to make a little money, you know, and to be able to get through. The other part of it is, quite frankly, is my wife and I have learned to live off of very little money working in social services. And because we didn't have those expectations of a wealthier lifestyle, I don't really have that. I have a very low mortgage, you know, so we really planned for that. My wife also, and the other thing was my health started to deteriorate because of my previous job, you know, high blood pressure and this.
Yeah, you gotta live, you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta find that work-life balance there. And I had another really cool crankbait designer down in North Carolina who, he was in child services, and he was like, dude, like, that was emotionally draining to do something like that.
It absolutely is.
And it's just like, it, you know, and again, this is something to that. It's like, it's important that we have those jobs, but how long you can do it before it just starts eating you alive. And so it's got to be right now. It's a lot less stressful in the worst days here than it was back then. But segueing more to the fishing side of things, it's really interesting, the Susquehanna River, because until, in my personal opinion, once kayaking on a national trail came around, that really threw the Susquehanna on the map to your average Joe of like, oh shit, this is a river. We've known about the Susky forever.
Yeah, social media really did that.
Oh my God.
Social media, so when I first started fishing the river, I'd go fish on a Saturday because I worked during the week, and there'd be one or two boats and boat trailers in the boat ramp in May or April. You know, I really started to see the change in the number of boats at first it was the jet boats. You know, the kayak thing really didn't come on until like the early 2010s, you know. But, you know, we started to see more and more boats at the boat ramp. We started to see, then we started seeing the large amount of kayakers. And then, like you said, is because of the kayak tournaments, that has really brought out a different group of people out. And I think it's great. I'm always a firm believer that, first of all, I don't own the water, nor does anybody else, you know, so this whole, you know, sometimes people have this adage, well, this is my water, you know, why are you here? You know, why do you come up from Virginia to fish the Susquehanna? We have some of that mentality that goes on. None of us own the water, you know, it's there for all of us to enjoy, and hopefully we all continue to enjoy it. One of the ways to do that is bring more people out to enjoy it, because if we don't have people invested in it, it's going to deteriorate. First of all, we won't have access. That's going to be the biggest thing. Secondly is we're going to have polluted water, because if there's not people out there going, hey, this farm runoff or this pollution is killing all the smallmouth, then what's going to happen is now our water system, you know, our drinking water is now polluted. And I always call the smallmouth the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
You know, we lost the rock bass in the Susquehanna years ago, and it was because of pollution. We haven't seen the rock bass population rebound in the Susquehanna since the early 90s.
I wonder how much that also has to do with like the kitty situation you also have in the river now too, where it's crazy how they took hold like they did. You know, sadly, guys, if you don't know, I've had Halleck on. We now have flathead on the freaking. I'll turn that up for you. We now have flathead on the Shenandoah, which sucks because the Shenandoah River is not as big as the Susquehanna. I mean, that's a whole other topic for another show. When you got into guiding and you started, I'm going to start making baits here. What was your very first design as we look at all these baits that you have right here?
So my very first design was the spinners. I'm a spinnerbait fanatic. There you go. That was my very, very first thing that I worked on. So what I did with my spinnerbaits was I had fished several different spinnerbaits over the years. Everything from hog collars. You know, for years we fished hog collars. Then war eagles, nickels, you know, a lot of great spinnerbaits out there. But there were certain things that one spinnerbait had that the other one didn't. So I looked at all the different spinnerbaits that I use and took things out of each one that I liked, and then added additional things to it to make it into what I consider is one of the best river smallmouth spinnerbaits out there. The compact design is, you know, which is a war eagle type of design, you know, being able to have that 3/8 or half ounce size spinnerbait, but in a quarter-ounce profile, huge, you know, especially in northern fishing, because most of our bait fish in the north are on the smaller side. You're always matching that hatch. So that was really where I started out with. So when I first started out, you know, I went through my disasters and things that didn't work, and you know. And I figured out things, you know, simple things like, you know, like the bead on here. For years, people were losing the swivel off that. So I had to come up with a way that was, you know, a way to do that, to keep that swivel from coming off. But when you twist things, you're adding another process that's very difficult to do. But by putting a bead on there, that's a very easy process with a quick bend, you know, versus twisting it around to keep that swivel off. So now that swivel won't come off. But from a production standpoint, I can make that quick, you know, because what production is always about economy of scale. How can I make something as fast as I can, but the quality maintained, you know? Those are the type of things that I've added. You know, wire tying the skirts on, banding and wire tying. Because how many times have you blown a skirt off of a spinnerbait? Because the bands, like anything else made out of rubber, is going to dry rot, especially when people on boats are driving down the highway with it in their console, flapping in the breeze at 70 miles an hour, you know? And so I've tried to make things, you know, I always look at both durability and that it catches fish. The other thing that I added was that thin wire. That 30 gauge wire is very important on the slow rolling, you know, because it gives you more of a wobble, but also the vibration. So, and then the hidden, and like I said, is then the hidden head, you know, having that compact size. You know, I had different styles. One of the things is, you know, there's a lot of baits out there that make a Colorado, Indiana. I went to a double turtleback. Not a lot of people put that out there.
Why?
It gives off a different vibration. So, you know, I'm not sure if people realize it's, you know, any fish, but especially smallmouth, they're pretty intelligent for their pea brains, you know, and their intelligence is instinctual intelligence. It's not problem-solving intelligence. So it's not like, well, I see a spinnerbait, I know it's metal, I shouldn't eat it. Their intelligence is, I see a spinnerbait, I feel the vibration, it felt like the 15 other ones that pulled me out of the water, took my picture and threw me back. That's how they build, you know, where they become attuned to it or accustomed to it. So when you add differences to what other people are doing, you're going to increase your catching. I always equate it back to the whopper plopper. You know, for years, when we first started throwing the whopper plopper out there, it was a killer bait.
Yeah.
I hear from everybody now, we're not getting bites on that anymore. And I don't think it's the profile. I actually think it's the vibration.
I think, yeah, I 100% agree with you.
You know, because if you throw a different prop bait, you know, whether it's a buzz bait or, you know, a torpedo type of bait, it's going to give off a different vibration. If they haven't seen that vibrate, or they haven't felt that vibration in a long time, they're going to be more tuned to attack it. You know, but if they attack the same vibration over and over again to get the same outcome, being pulled out of the water and getting their picture taken, which they don't really like, you know, as much as we think they do, you know, it's very stressful to them, you know, they are going to avoid it. So I really think that having differences, you know, in you know, vibration or feel is going to be something that will improve your catching. And so that's what I'm always looking for.
We had one question here on Instagram. Then, guys, if you put your question on YouTube or Facebook, I can share it on the screen. How light a wire can you get away with before it just gets ridiculous? And that was Sam Egger 32.
All right. You know, I've tried the 28 gauge. You know, believe it or not, what I wrap this with, that's a 24 gauge. So that little, what I wrap the skirts with, that's a 24 gauge. I really think that the 30 gauge is about as light as I like to go. What I hear with, you know, there are other spinnerbait companies that use a 28 gauge, and they end up breaking those very quickly. And so I have found the 30 gauge to, as I said, I'm always looking for that balance of durability and fish catching. You know, whether it's in my soft plastics is about durability and suppleness. Spinnerbaits is about, you know, you don't want to break a spinnerbait in 3 fish.
And that's such a, from you as a businessman, that's interesting, because if you want to go tie your thing with thread and then you break it on every fish, that's one thing. But if you're making a bait that doesn't last very long, that's going to hurt your bottom line as a businessman.
Absolutely. You know, it is a very, you know, but once again, if you go up to a 45 gauge, you're not going to catch fish.
No.
So it's really about finding that balance. And some people, and what's interesting is I'm always very appreciative of criticism, I guess, is constructive criticism, because that helps me build a better product. But when it comes down to constructive criticism, it's not one person's constructive criticism. I want to hear a consistent thing from multiple people. This is why I work with the guides. The nice thing about the guides is, first of all, they're willing to share information with me that a lot of times tournament anglers won't want to do, And secondly is they're on the water all the time.
Yeah.
They're not out fishing on the weekends. They're fishing 5, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. And so having them using my baits all the time can give me that critical feedback that I need. Plus, I'm a guide also. So not only am I hearing from my guide staff, but I'm also hearing, I'm also doing it myself. And there's at times I'll say this isn't working like it should be. So I've made a lot of subtle differences. Good example is just with the Helgermites. As I used to pour them a little softer, I did harden them up, because if you take a Helgermite and feel it, it's hard. Mm-hmm. So those are the type of things that you can grow your product based on, that critical feedback, but also understanding what the baits imitate and feeling that, and understanding how that feels to the fish.
Let's get with the soft plastics here, because you have a lot to choose from. Where would you like to start?
Well, I guess we'll start with cold. We might as well, it's cold out.
Yeah.
Let's start with cold. So in the springtime, we've moved to these little micro jigs. And these are extra wide gap micro jig. And what those do is you can make them weedless or for our purpose it's more rockless, because really we're fishing so much rock on the Susquehanna, especially it's all, the weeds aren't out there at that time. We fish those, and we'll put, when it's real cold out, when I'm talking about real cold, it's under 40 degrees. When it's real cold out, you want very, very small baits. And the reason you want very small baits, so like a stone cat is a great example. I have another bait, which I didn't bring with me, is a river darter. The other thing about those baits is you also have to think about, and this is where I've come back to my fishery management understanding, is you have to think about what's moving around at those times of year. So if you throw a crawfish in 35-degree water, that's not what's out there. Those crawfish are in hibernation. They're underneath rocks. They're not coming out in that water. But a stone cat or a river darter, they're not susceptible to that cold water. So they'll actually be moving around. The other reason you throw smaller baits when it's real cold is their metabolism. They cannot so if you only have a warm-up period of, say, 11 to 3 in the afternoon, and they'll go out and sun themselves and generate their metabolism, but the realization is they can only digest a very small meal. So if they eat a large meal, most of it is not going to be used, and they're using up more energy than what they're getting out of it. So you really have to fish very small in cold water. Hair jigs, another good option. Any type of real small, like what we'll do with these is we'll put a very small, like a river flapper, which is just a little spade tail jig. You want that very small profile, and it's really about their level of metabolism. Is they need to be able to digest that, and if they can't digest it, they're actually using more energy than what they're getting out of it.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
The other part of it is the reason we catch big fish in the wintertime, those females are already starting to produce their eggs. That means they have to provide nourishment to those eggs. But they can only do small meals at a time.
Gotcha.
Because they can't digest big meals. So that's why we catch big fish in real cold water. Everybody says, cold water is big fish time. But that's really wise, because those females, they're already germinating those eggs.
That's fascinating.
So, yeah, they don't just germinate when they hit the beds. It takes a while for them. It's like any other thing. There's a process that they have to go through to grow those eggs. They usually start in December. That's usually when they start producing the eggs.
Oh God, that's wild. Then guys, just drop your questions here when you have them. I see we got Michael on there. Colorado or willow leaf blade? What do you prefer?
All right. Well, there's no black and white answer to these things. There's a dirty and clean answer.
Yeah.
So whenever you need to, so when the water's dirty, smallmouth or any bass hunt on their lateral line. Their lateral line is that line that runs down the middle of their body, and that's how they pick up vibration. So if they can't see, and smallmouth are sight hunters, they much prefer to sight hunt if they can. They live in a lot cleaner water than largemouth. That's why largemouth react to vibration more so than smallmouth. And so what they're doing is, you're going to want the Colorado or a bigger blade. It doesn't even matter. It can be a bigger willow leaf, but you want a heavier vibration when it's dirty. And that's what's drawing them to it. The other thing is, when it's dirty, is you want to slow roll those baits, because you got to give them time to find that spinner bait. So they're not seeing it. Like when we fish clear water, they'll come 30, 40 feet to that bait. When we're fishing dirty water, you're pulling them from 5 to 10 feet to that bait, and they have to find it, because they might only have a foot or foot and a half visibility. We might have 6 inches, but they have a foot to foot and a half, maybe even 2 feet. They have better visibility than we do in that dirty water. But the realization, if they're 10 feet away, they feel the bait, they got to come to within a foot of that bait to see it, and then they attack it. And that's why you have to slow roll things. You got to give them time to find that bait. Now, in clear water, now we're going to the willows. And, I'll go to a smaller willow size, so that's a 3.5, 4. That's a booster. And we start burning those baits at really high rates of speed. And the reason we do that is we want a reaction strike, but it is a sight reaction. That's why you use more natural colors when you're fishing clear water versus darker colors or real bright chartreusey colors in dirty water. So and there's in-betweens. There's all kinds of in-betweens, I always look at water as you have crystal clear, and then you have this milky green color. Milky green color is my best color. That is the best combination of vibration and sight a smallmouth can have, meaning that they can feel it far away, but they can also see it far away. Versus then we move into stain, which is a not quite dirty. It's more of a light brown color. And then on the Susquehanna, we get weird, like depending on where the rains hit, we'll get weird colors coming out of down the river. So say we get a lot of rain up in the Red Hills, there's some places that have higher iron, we'll get that orange color down the river,
Interesting.
Yeah, it'll turn it orangey, and they don't like that. A lot of clay. It has a lot of clay in it.
Is it the full river, or is it more of a left-right thing, so to speak, with how the river goes?
Yeah, I mean, the Susquehanna is one of those rivers that you're basically fishing 3 to 4 rivers at a time, and not even including creeks. We'll just say the main river. So you have everything above the Juniata is influenced by the West Branch and the North Branch. Your West Branch is coming out of the mountains of Pennsylvania, so that generally is always the cleaner side. Now that will get the orangey color because that has more of the clay iron.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And then you get the North Branch water that comes out of the central New York, and it actually originates in Cooperstown, New York. And so it comes down, and it comes through a lot of farmland, and that will get that more of that milky brown color. When it gets dirty, it's almost not like chocolate milk, a little lighter than chocolate milk type of thing, almost like a root beer float.
Yeah.
And so you'll see that, and then you have a convergence zone. So if you got dirty water coming together, that might be a good convergence zone. So where the 2 rivers meet, there's a place all the way down the river, those 2 rivers, and sometimes one will override the other. Mainly the North Branch will override the West Branch with dirty water, so that dirty water will push further to the west. So you have to understand, and I use a lot of gauges, and I also use a really cool feature on the NOAA website that actually shows me how much precipitation fell in each water basin for the entire drainage system for the Susquehanna.
Gotcha, okay.
And that really gives me an idea especially if I've been out on the river for a while, but even if we have a major storm will come through, it gives me an idea of where I might be able to go target smallmouth and have a better success. Because, a lot of times when you get dirty water, you're looking for the cleanest water you can find. Whether it's coming out of a creek, coming out of the Juniata, coming out of even a little creek. I mean, you can get into an eddy and there'll be chocolate milk out of the main river, and there's a little creek feeding that little eddy, and it's got that nice milky green color. They're smallmouth in there because they're always looking for the cleanest water. I always equate, dirty waters is like smog and pollution to us.
Interesting. Okay.
Because imagine trying to breathe through dirty water like they have to, and especially clay. You ever see clay and it just kind of globs up on stuff? Imagine that globbing up on their gills, and that reduces, and that also will reduce their how active they are, because their oxygen's cut off. It's kind of like us. If our oxygen's cut off, what happens? We become lethargic.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Got another question here on the Instagram too, which is if you had to pick one color of your spinnerbait to throw the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one because there's no black and white or clean and dirty. I'll give you two. I'll go with two. So Southside Slammer for clean water, and Chartreuse Death Snag for the dirtier water.
How is it? I ask everyone this because it's a fun question to get answered by multiple people. How the hell is it Chartreuse in 2025 still catches them as good as it does 100 years ago? It's insane that they never got dialed into that color.
Well, first of all, we have to assume that we can't assume that they see color the same way we see. So, and I actually asked a biologist down in Tennessee this, because I've actually asked quite a few, because I'm trying to, and there's really never been any studies on how they see, when you see color, it's cones in your eyes. There's cones, and then and then it runs through the spectrum of color, but not every animal sees color the same way. So humans see color a different way than dogs, etc. I've never quite, do they see chartreuse as the way we see it, or do they see it more of like a glimmer in a bait fish? And that's always the question about that is, it's not so much what we see, it's what they see.
That makes sense.
So, and I actually asked a biologist down in Tennessee, and he's like, we've talked about that. There's never been any studies that they know of to really, because you really have to. How do you get a smallmouth to tell you what they see in color? That's something very hard, But again, they can dissect the cones and do some of that kind of stuff. But there's really never, quite frankly, nobody cares about stuff like that.
Yeah,
I do, because I'm passionate about it.
Of us, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the grand world of things, who are trying to make a living, most people don't really think about stuff. So who's going to invest the money to do it?
No, I feel you there. Guys, come on, like and subscribe, and really, if you have any comments, let me know. I can get them answered real quick before we let this poor guy get back to his booth. You got some other baits there. I want to make sure we hit before we go.
So as things move along in the spring, we start getting the crawfish coming out. So I start throwing crawfish baits, like the little craw, tubes. Tubes are a great bait. That's a staple bait that we've been throwing on the river. Again, the Susquehanna likes those teeter tubes because our crawfish are smaller versus like the New River, which is
lobsters.
Yeah, they're much bigger. So you really have to match the size based on, what your forage is in your river. You can't just assume what works on the Susquehanna is going to work other places. But what I can tell you is, river smallmouth are river smallmouth. They all act the same way, but they might forage on different stuff. I fish for river smallmouth up in Maine, all the way to Tennessee, and out in the Midwest. They act the same way, but the realization is whatever forage they have is what they relate to. And that's what you have to understand, is what's the forage. The best thing that I've ever done is I've taken lunch, sit on the side, and I just look in the water. I just, get real still, watch all the different bait fish move around. Seeing what's really moving around, especially if it's a tough day. And I might change my tactics based on what I'm seeing moving around. Or if you get them, you catch a couple and they start coughing stuff up, don't disregard that. This year, when we were fishing, in December, they were coughing up channel cats, little tiny channel cats. So we moved to more of a darker, like a black to a grayish color, because that's more the channel cat colors, even though it was super clear.
I just never. Yes, of course, it makes sense. But then it's like in my brain, it's like, wait, bassy catfish? It's like, well, why wouldn't they? It's such a weird.
They'll eat anything. They'll eat anything they can get in their mouths to have protein. bugs. There's certain times, like later in the spring, we start getting the hatches. And if you ever see, I always call it the O's or the Cheerios, where they go up and dimple on the top. It's amazing how big of a smallmouth will make just a little dimple at the top.
Oh, it's insane.
And then you'll catch them and they'll start spitting up all these mayflies or caddisfly larvae. And that's what they're doing. They're just slurping all this great protein at the top. It's easy. You don't have to chase anything. The realization is most predator fish are going to do as little as possible to get as much nourishment as possible. Because if they have to expend less energy to get a good meal, especially when their metabolism is up when it gets warmer, then they're going to do it. They're going to take the easy way. I mean, and that's why, like in the summertime, you have to finesse them. You start throwing, jointed jerk baits.
We throw a cool design. Look at that.
Yeah, we throw those nose hook just on a little number 1 nose hook. Here, I'll hook one up, show them. I actually, the hook that I found to work the best is these Daiichi fine bait wire hooks, because they have a nice long straight shaft. And what we do is we nose hook them, and I've designed these that they're a sinking bait. And if you can see, that is the bait's through the bottom, not through the top.
Why?
Well, there's a lot of opinions out there. Some people say, well, it's just no reason at all. It's the easiest way to do. I think it works better because it acts like a keel and keeps that bait. We're not twitching these like you would a fluke, a typical fluke. We're throwing these out there, and I call them do-nothing baits. The less you do with them, the more fish you catch. Because if you throw them out there by the boat and watch them, go down the river, they swim like this. The fish, I'm just swimming down the river. They're not looking distressed like most of the time fluke baits are used for, where you're jerking them and you're causing them to do the the back and forth. No, these are looking like I'm just kind of moseying down the river, not paying attention, and the smallmouth comes over and just grabs it. It's an easy meal. It's not so much that it's in distress. So.
Interesting, dude. That is absolutely fascinating. Guys, we've covered so much here. What do you have going on right now at the booth? And then if people want to book a guided trip with you, where can they go?
Okay, yeah, at the booth right now is we have all my products. They're all, again, it's American-made stuff. I actually make them just in my basement. I'm a basement dweller. I'd like to get more people out there making baits, and doing that kind of stuff, because I'd love to see small business in this country grow again and get away from this corporate mentality. I am not a corporate person, as you can tell. So, yeah, come on out and take a look at. I have a lot of new stuff, the stone cats, the Medusa. That's a new one.
That had to have been hard to get right in the mold with those appendages.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the pressure I use in the injector.
I like that.
And then I have the new little beeve, and then 3-inch swim baits.
Dude, that one.
Yep, and you can tell how supple they are.
Very supple.
Yeah, and that one there is those are sinking baits. The beeve and the Medusa are floating bait. I actually also embed garlic scent in them, so they're always leaking. They're always leaking garlic. Now, a lot of people think that the scent is used as an attractant, and it does attract fish. I really consider it especially in cold water, that they're holding on to it longer. So, in cold water, you don't really feel much of a bite. It's not a distinct, I always tell clients is, when we're fishing warm water, you'll feel a distinct double tap. The first one is sucking it in. The second one is trying to take off because there's a bunch of other smallmouth trying to steal it out of its mouth. Especially on the Susquehanna, where there's just so many of them. I mean, literally, we'll bring spinnerbaits back, and they're trying to pull the blades out of the mouth of this. Like 5 of them are behind it pulling blades out of its mouth. But but in the wintertime, first of all, they're not aggressive because their metabolism is down, and secondly is they're might be congregated, but they're not really competing. So what they do is they just suck it in and they don't move. And that's why you don't really feel much of a bite. But when you add salt and that scent to it, they'll suck, instead of sucking it in and spitting it right back out, because they're like, oh, that don't taste good. It tastes like piece of plastic. That's salt. You think about fish or crawfish or any type of bait fish, it has a salty taste. Even us, I mean, when we sweat, it's salt. it has a salty taste to it. So they're going to hold on to that longer, having that salt in its mouth.
John, I really appreciate you coming on this show. This has been fantastic. I've been wanting to get you on for a couple of years. I'm glad we finally had time to make this happen. Guys, go check him out today at the Richmond Expo. Otherwise, do you have an online presence too? People want to shop there?
Yeah. I know on my guiding service, I only have 10 dates left in the spring.
10. Better go now.
So so get me quickly. You can text me or email me at snaglertackle@outlook.com, or text me at 717-368-3802. You put my card up. My website is www.snaglertackle.com. It's a full online store. I also offer bulk pricing. So when you buy, if you have a favorite color and bait, I do offer bulk pricing on spinner baits and tube heads, all the terminal tackle that I sell, because I know how expensive it is to do this, and I've been trying to I've always been one who's tried to figure out how to catch the most smallmouth the most economical way possible. This is what happens when you're not very wealthy.
Guys, you got to go check him out. Go check out his stuff. He's got some really, really cool baits, really unique to the market. And hey, listen, Upper Potomac, Shenandoah River, the James, Upper James, and of course the Mighty Susquehanna. There's so many smallmouth rivers and anglers. It's
down in
insane.
Tennessee. I mean, I picked up a lot of tennis clients over the last few years because, especially with the Helger mites, because they can't find them.
Dude, it's absolutely killer, the Helgermite bait. And that's a whole other stuff.
Connecticut River.
Yeah.
I mean, I got Penobscot River. Again, there's some great smallmouth fishing. We won't even talk about the St. Lawrence, which is it's a much different river. That's not
animal.
It's a whole different animal, but it's still. I always say river smallmouth or river smallmouth.
Yep.
Those fish act the same way as a shallow water smallmouth does.
No, 100%. Guys, go check him out. John, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
We are going to take a quick 5 to 8 minute break. I see my next guest in the queue behind me here. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back here at Richmond Fishing Expo. Let me get that on there. Hey everyone, quick little announcement here from Fishing the DMV. Our Weekend Warrior membership on Patreon is nearly full. There are only 28 spots still available. Once these spots are gone, they're gone, and the Weekend Warrior tier will be closed to the general public. All members will be locked in indefinitely at a fantastic price point, and they will get all the benefits that they have today, plus any new benefits and discounts that will be added in the future. All Weekend Warriors will receive 5% off their orders to Jake's Bait and Tackle, 10% off their orders to Tiger Crankbaits, 10% off their orders to Catoctin Creek Rod. They'll also gain access to our private Facebook group community, loads of members-only content. And in 2025, there are going to be tournaments that will be given a massive discount specifically to our Weekend Warrior members. Plus, if you sign up for the year right now, you will get 8% off your already fantastically discounted rate to join the Weekend Warrior program. Link in the episode description. Thank you. All righty, we are. Let me crank up his. I don't know. He's not deaf. He's not an elderly person. All righty, guys. We are here. We are live at the Richmond Fishing Expo with our next guest. I wanted my last guest to really be a big hitter for the first day here at the Richmond Fishing Expo. So we have the elusive, the notorious Hunter. What is your HP fishing? I'm sorry, I had a stroke. Jesus Christ.
HPS.
HPS
yeah.
fishing.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been a long time since we've actually seen each other in person.
Yeah. I don't even know when.
Has it been 2 years since we went to the lake? Was it? No, last year. Smith Mountain Lake.
Yeah. We had the house at Smith Mountain.
Yeah, because remember, Phil blacked out drunk. We forgot to put the bilge on his boat.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah. No, he was. Yeah. That's part of my intro. Him yelling about
Johnny Morris.
Johnny Morris. God. Oh, my God. Rip him, man. Dude, what have you been up to this past year?
This has been a weird one. Weird year for me. I haven't fished tournaments as much. I fished with Matt Streichel. You know how that goes.
He's trash.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun, English choice, and just fishing local, traveling more, Florida. That's been it.
Yeah, you went to Florida this year already. How did you do that?
How did I do it? I drove.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah, we can't fly boats yet.
Yeah, that is true. That'd be pretty cool if we were able to. I mean, did you just do that? Did you go to like a house that you own, Airbnb? You do this every year, right?
Try to. Yeah. So I'm from Tampa. So my
really?
Yeah.
I never knew that. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was born in Orlando, and then lived in Tampa until I was like 14.
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah. So my best friend from kindergarten, my two best friends, we stayed with his family for like 2 or 3 days. And then I went to Headwaters. I rented a little camper that's like 15 minutes from there. Fished for like 4 days.
Do you still have family down there then?
No, I never had family. It was just my parents ended up moving there and working for Busch Gardens and SeaWorld.
Did you get to go to SeaWorld a lot?
A lot.
What's your favorite thing from SeaWorld?
Seals. Yeah, they were cool. Penguins.
The penguins.
I was all over the penguins.
The penguins are really dope. Yeah. How did you get with the bait shop that you're working with right now and the booth that you're representing?
So I work for Fishing Protect. I met Lynn Bell 6 or 7 years ago, like early when I moved here. And he needed someone to work there, and I needed a job. And I've been there ever since.
How many years is that now?
I think this is my 5th year. 4th or 5th year.
Damn, dude.
So I've been in it for a while.
You pretty much run that place now.
It's a 2-man show. We do pretty good.
How did you come up with the assortment of baits that you guys are really known for?
It's always been like kind of fascinated by the Japanese. That's where it started. It really started with Megabass. Lynn was one of the first dealers, I think, ever. He's been carrying Megabass since 2003. Took a chance on them when they were smaller, and we've been with Megabass ever since. And I mean, being with them, you see all the other Japanese companies like Depps and OSP and all that stuff. Yeah, it's just an infatuation that everyone has with the JDM stuff. So, and it's also trying to find stuff that other people don't have.
Well, yeah, and like, I mean, Megabass, man, you're talking about something that you hit on it and won with. I mean, why would you throw anything jerkbait related that's not Megabass at this point?
I can't.
It's insane.
Yeah, they perfected it. I mean, it's well known that they stole some stuff from Smithwick and I forget the other company, but I don't know any jerkbait that's gonna be close to it yet.
No.
And they're trying, but
When you comes, and we got a question. Wait, where'd it go? Question on Instagram, which is, what is Hunter's favorite jerkbait setup?
ooh, it's a spicy one. I'm throwing right now. I have two, because I like running a regular 110 rod and then a plus one. There's a big difference in the two. The plus one is a Shimano Metanium DC on a Poison 610 medium, and then I throw a Corrado 70 on a same 610 medium Poison Adrena. So I think I like having a smaller spool, because a lot of people think like smaller spool, smaller baits. If you throw a bigger bait on a smaller spool, you're almost never going to backlash, and you can throw straight into the wind and never have a problem.
Really?
Yep.
What about a +2?
I haven't thrown a +2 in a long time.
Do they actually work?
Great question. I'm sure they do, but +1, I probably throw that 95% of the time.
Why?
I think that with a +1, I catch fish with a +1 from 2 feet to 10. I think if I want to get it shallower, I make a shorter cast. If I want to fish it deeper, make a longer cast. With any other size, you've got to do a lot different stuff. So +1 works perfect for me.
How deep can you get the +1?
12 is the deepest that. I mean, you could throw it on 4-pound test and get it to 15, but if you throw it on 8, you'll probably be around 12.
Okay. Now, are you going to be throwing that in 12 feet of water, or can you actually? Let me get this whole brain to work, because it's been thinking for a long time today. What is the max depth you're going to throw that thing in?
Max would probably be 12.
Okay, 12
Yeah.
for 12 foot. Okay.
But I mean, you throw it in 30 if you got fish that are cruising. Like we do that a lot, where you see a fish cruising in 40 feet of water just wherever, throw a jerkbait and they'll eat it. It's always the ones that are higher up though.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, because like, how high can you actually call them before it's like this
Yeah.
is a waste of time?
Yeah, for roaming fish, I've always felt like if there's a fish that's in like 5 feet, that might be a jerkbait fish. I think it's kind of rare for me, at least, to catch one in 12 feet that's like roaming. So, yeah. But you can also weight them and do all that. There's so much you can do to those.
Do you do all that?
Nope.
Why?
I'm straight out of the box. I don't change hooks.
Why?
I don't need to. I haven't had a single situation where I felt like I need to. I went to Smith Mountain, not the year before we were there, when I got 7.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I spent 3 days there. I caught countless 3s, 4s, 2s, catching 20, 30 fish a day. Didn't change my megabass hooks at all that week. Now, yeah, some were straightened out, broke a few. But even with the straightened out hooks and the broken ones, I never lost a single fish that week. So that was enough for me.
Guys, I'm going through the questions here also on Instagram. Make sure everything is on the up and up. And let's see, another question here is, what is your favorite JDM topwater bait?
JDM top. I would say right now, it's not like it's a frog. Nori's has a frog. We sold out of them today.
Really?
Right off the bat.
Holy crap.
Nori's has a frog. It's like a cylinder. Like it's not like a regular, like a regular frog would be. It's kind of like a pencil. That thing is sweet. Wish I had more.
A pencil frog? Holy
It's
shit.
sweet.
I need to see this thing.
It's sweet. Yeah. We had probably 20 or 30 today, and they're all gone.
Good question, guys, by the way. Yeah, keep the questions rolling in there. Yeah, I'd never even seen that before. Now,
Yeah.
the thing that I'm trying to catch on to is like the hairy dice about when to play that. I threw that a lot this past fall. I don't know how well it worked for largemouth, but smallmouth and spots it's crack for them.
I had some really good days on Gaston doing it, like some 70 fish days.
For
on the
spotties?
dice. Yeah. I think it's definitely spotted bass, smallmouth. But I think a lot of it is to do with the scent that OSB uses. And stuff like that.
Yeah, what the hell was what is his name? Taku Itsu, whatever his name was. What was that? Was that his custom stuff that he was throwing on
Definitely custom, but I know Nori's. I think he's with Nori's.
Okay,
and
I think so too.
They have like a little 3-pack that's like shrimp powder and like some juices and stuff. And the juice, I put it in a plastic tub, and I have baits that have been sitting there for a year and a half.
Oh God.
And then the powder I take and put it on all my plastics and just let it sit. Because the powder will grab the plastic way better than liquid will. Liquid will come right off.
But you don't think the powder will come off when it touches the water?
No, it definitely makes a difference. I think that after a while, like you put it in there for a month, it'll start to kind of infuse a little bit into that bait.
All right, got no questions there. Perfect. Bait wise, we gotta start doing this, guys. We gotta start teasing this thing out. Take it away. What are you gonna start with?
I got one terminal thing, and then I got one lure. What do you want to do first?
Your call, big dog.
I think I'm excited about this. This is because every fisherman loves live scope, from what I've seen.
Ah, everyone does.
This is a bait. This is made by Greenfish. This is one we carry. It's called the dot minnow. If you're familiar with the megabass karashi, it's a subsurface walking bait that sinks. So it's almost like a jerk bait without a lip. That's a little bit more weighted, and you could fish this thing in 50 foot of water if you wanted to. But yeah, I'm excited about that this year.
Throw that there, guys. Sorry about that. Hold on,
Don't hook yourself.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the first time. What are you throwing this on?
That for me would be a spinning rod, just because of the treble hooks. It would probably be a little bit longer rod, like a 7'2", 7'3", maybe like a medium light. 10-pound braid probably to some sort of leader, and yeah, fishing like a jerkbait.
10-pound braid seems a little light for that bad boy.
It's gonna cast forever.
Yeah, that is also actually true.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I'm excited about that. They have a lot of cool colors too.
I like that gold though. That gold's really cool.
This one's yours.
I don't. Oh,
So you can try that one.
it's probably broken, is why he's giving it to me.
Yeah, I poked a hole in it. I drilled a hole in it before I gave it to you.
Dude, that is pretty sick right there.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a James River-ish bait, which is so funny because you guys are so close to the James, but you guys are full JDM.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Does that work?
Works really well. It's weird. I was talking to a guy today. We haven't gotten the pull on the scope stuff yet. We're still like because you talk to a lot of companies, like maybe more Tennessee, like out that way. They're like, oh, we can't sell bait casters, we can't sell crankbaits. We're selling everything really well. Definitely selling scope stuff, but we have a lot of guys that scope near us. But yeah, we still sell a lot of crankbaits and plastics and flipping stuff. So
How much do you scope on the river? Like a Smith or something like that?
a lot. I won my first tournament this year doing it, which was so much fun. I figured it out like in a tournament throwing a jerkbait, caught 50 fish in a 3-hour night tournament.
A night tournament right now? My God.
No, this was like summertime.
Oh, okay. I was like, holy shit, that is hardcore.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I forget who was in second. I think it was like McPlus something.
Yeah, you beat some guy called like McChicken, I think.
Yeah, that guy.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
Was that Chesson?
No, that was Chick.
That was Chick?
That was
Okay.
a river.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
there's a scope right out there. You got a lot of just hardcore river rats that just don't want to adopt it, which is fine. I don't really care how anyone else fishes, but there's a scope bite out there, and if you want to put in the work to find it, you'll succeed.
How is Chick Lake? Is that place overrated, underrated? Where would you put it?
Right now, it's so hard. Wintertime, it's probably one of the best lakes around. I think McCluskey had 24 or something the other day, and then I think last year we had a 31-pound bag out of there. To me, I fish the evening tournaments to about June, and then it just gets really tough. It's just a shallow, swampy lake, so it's never going to be great. It gets 90-degree water temp, so. But it ebbs and flows just like anywhere else. But there's the ability to catch a 10-pounder out there for sure.
Holy shit, really?
For sure.
What's your biggest out of there?
Out of Chick Lake, I think I've had some 6s, a couple 6s. I've had a couple 7s on the river. But
That's pretty freaking good, man.
yeah.
And you mentioned something, on one of our chats where it's either a James year or a chick year. Could you elaborate on that for the public?
It's just a theory, but it does seem like there's always some consistency where you either have a year where tournaments are always getting one out of the chick, or they're always getting one out of the James. And I think because they're doing that, you have people that'll run from Osborne to the chick. That's the usual plan. But then when it's a James River year, we have people run from the chick to the James. So when you have 50 to 300 boats fishing a tournament in a weekend, fish are going to get moved like crazy. So I don't think it's a natural flip. I think it's caused by the excess amount of tournaments. But there's definitely like some weird stuff that happens where one's usually producing a little bit better than the other. But you can still catch a 20-pound bag either one any day.
Yeah, because it's been about 10 years. 2016, I think, was the last year that F1s were stocked with James, and so some people were stressing out like, well, it's going to be on the downslide. It's just going to completely go away now. But you're still thinking that you can catch big bags.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that place, I hope they come back in stock because there's only going to be so many fish. And, we have tournaments in the middle of August that are running these fish 60 miles if they're making a run. It's like a fishery is always going to be hurt by that. I don't know what we do to solve that, but...
Oh, it's a catch, weigh, release, sadly. I mean, you were there when the PPT went by in your backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because they're fishing a completely different style. They're not going for the best 5, but on the same token, they're not moving, 800 tons of fish up to Osborne each time. So
I've fished during Bassmaster Opens and during College Series. Those are both 200 to 300 boat tournaments, and you can feel it while you're there. It's just something's off with the place.
Really?
Every boat has 2 sonars on it at least, and you got motors running by them, so they definitely know that something's.
Have you gotten to venture into the Appomattox at all? Mm-hmm. What is that place like?
Sucks. Yeah, it sucks. No, I fished it for like 2 days. Didn't get a bite for fishing for a
So
tournament.
it does suck.
So I never went back. No, they win tournaments out of there all the time. You either love it or you hate it. I live 5 minutes from the chick, so it's like,
Oh, okay.
I don't really want to drive 40 minutes. But it's a cool looking place. I think if I spent time there, I'd love it. But yeah, I fished it for a few days.
Yeah, I've just always been curious. That might be a place I go just to make a trip because you have Chesin that dumps right in there. So I'm really interested like what that place sets up like. Because if you guys don't know, in the back of Chick River, you have a dam. And so you have a tail race kind of bite that can sometimes happen there. And I've been thinking, like, well, you get a tail race bite there at Appomattox, too, where you have Chesin's dam.
Yeah, I went all the way up one time when I was practicing for that BFL that was out there. And the current up there's crazy.
Really?
It's rapids.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
I had no clue. I'd never heard anyone talk about it like that. But yeah, I have it's like bumping. Like I had the Ultrex on 10.
Holy God.
I could barely move.
Dude, okay, well, I'm going to be making a trip up there, then that sounds really cool.
Yeah, there's 100% a bite. I couldn't figure it out. I was only there for a little bit, but yeah, there's something.
You live off of one of the best rivers, basically, in the East Coast right now, so why would you go somewhere else?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't go to Potomac.
That's a whole other freaking argument. I just like grass fishing more than like flipping trees and shit. Like, I don't know. I get why you guys love it though. Dude, fishing Cypress is so hard, but again, I haven't done it very much. It's such a different cat about where they set up on that thing, depending on when the tide is. It's I don't know. It's something else I really got to start learning and getting better at.
We can make it happen.
Yeah,
I'll show you a thing or two.
Yeah, I could definitely learn a bunch of things from you about that.
It's fun when they're on. I mean, the nice thing is they bed on the trees. So when you go during their spawning, you can just fish trees all day and catch them. But yeah, there's a really fun bite to be had, flipping and stuff like that.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got another bait right there before the box, the big box reveal.
Yeah. This is the juice. This is probably, I think, the best terminal system I've ever seen. It's all in one. We sell this for $2.99. I think if you bought everything in here individually, it'd be like $3.60 or something. So you save a lot of money. But this is BKK's tackle system. It comes with pretty much every type of hook they have. You got Permalock, you got the offset worm hook, you got the heavy cover flipping hook, which I used in Florida. Killer. And yeah, you buy this box, you get one piece of everything. You don't get any of their jig heads, of course, but yeah, drop shot, treble hooks. Yeah, this is everything you need.
I'm gonna try, guys. A little angle that bad boy to the camera. Just while Hunter kind of talks about it. So you got every style hook in this box possible?
Yep. Yeah, that'll be everything you need hook-wise, pretty much. I have guys that have bought that and said like, oh, I'm set for the next couple of years. Each one comes with, I think, what their standard pack is. The Armor Point package comes with 5 or 6 hooks. And yeah, you get the full thing of that. And then also what we don't have any now, but what we will have is you can get just the box itself. And then those little containers, we're going to have those too. And so you could custom make your own.
I don't know if the camera could pick this part up about that, but the boxes within the boxes are pretty durable, so you can refill it, which I kind of like. So once you buy this thing and you start running out of hooks, you still have a place you can organize and refill whatever's missing.
Yeah, BKK has done a great job. We've been trying to get their hooks for years. We finally got some in, and I mean they're the hottest terminal company out right now.
Why do you think they're so hot?
No, I don't know. I think that their marketing is really good. The brand, the packaging, they're signing the right people. They have, I mean, Polinick, Cooper Gallant. They have my buddy Joe LaBarbera on there. Sign the right people that are bringing the right people with them, and yeah, we've been doing really good with them, and the guys around town love them.
What's that other little thing you got there? A little sneaky sneak.
Little sneaky. We all love the Charlie Brewer head that bends out every fish. This is someone finally made a good slider head. That thing is unreal. I got to use that down in Florida at Headwaters. I think first cast I caught one on that. And then, yeah, super good slider head hook. I can't think of any that are better right now.
Dude, that is awesome. That's pretty heavy too. It's it's 1/4. Damn, that's actually really nice. What kind of bait did you catch them on there? Because it was a cold front when you went down there too.
It's always a cold front when you go to Florida.
That's about right. Yeah.
I was throwing just a finesse worm on that, a little zoom 4-inch, nothing special. But I've thrown crawls on that. I bed fish with that. You can fish like a shaky head, stuff like that.
I gotta try that. I gotta really try that head out a little bit more in my fishing, especially for grass around the Potomac.
Yeah. Oh, you'll love it for the Potomac.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few people on the river that catch them on that, maybe. Allegedly.
I allegedly think that's correct. Yeah. I think that they're catching them in brush piles too, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Allegedly, is there any kind of drama going on in the bass world?
I don't know why you're asking me.
I don't know why I'd ask you. It's not like you're up to date on any of the stuff going on.
What do we got drama? Well, everyone is so excited that we have another year of forward-facing sonar. That's the vibe I'm getting from the fishing industry.
I don't know why they'd be so pissed because you have the NPFL now.
I wish I knew. I think if you take a step back and look at what we have going on, we have NPFL, who's going to have a really good broadcast system this year. They fixed that, no pun intended. MLF, who has the most confusing forward-facing sonar deal out of all of them.
Dude.
That's going to be insane.
Doing coke and making rules is what they did. That was insane.
And then you have Bass, who has 4 screens, which that didn't make a difference on anything. I don't know what that was about. I think we are actually in a really good time once we figure out this entry fee stuff, and I think people just need, because most likely we're not going to have 3 leagues for very long. Something's going to happen at some point. So I think we just need to enjoy it this year.
That's a hot take.
We'll see.
Which league do you think caves first?
I don't think it's caving. I think it's who brings out the big bucks.
I mean, personally, I think what you might see happening here is, oh my God, we got some people on here. We're gonna get to all your
firing them up.
Yeah. We're gonna get. I just fired up the chat, guys. Get your chat in now for Hunter before he goes. I don't know if I can answer that question on live broadcast, but we might get to that one later, Carter. I'm going to get that question answered now because I'm going to keep thinking about it. All right, so we got here, he says, Carter's first, I have a question for Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, how did you get so goddamn good looking?
What's the last name on there?
Carter,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Stuttered. You don't have to
Tim and Stephanie Smith right there.
All right, there you go. Good question, Carter.
Yeah,
you just want a gift card to whatever shop he's with there. You can cash it in at time. Jimbo Slice, I'm not who I will cave, but I will be watching. Need to as well also, says Jimbo Slice. I agree. We got Chris here. Chris says, I use the Bass Pro Shop Perfect Worm Hook, which is their version of the slider hook. Awesome hook up ratio. The only thing I hate with slider heads, because I fish like smallmouth all the time, is the fact that the damn thing, when you set the hook, every other cast, it'll come down on the hook unless you use super glue.
Yeah.
Like, you need to use a shit ton of super glue with it. I mean, it works, but you just gotta be aware of that.
This has the coat they have on it is a little slippery. But yeah, glue it or hook more worm on. Yeah.
Let's see, we got that one. I will not answer either. That one is a little worse. Over on Instagram, we have another question here. Is what is your go-to jig?
Go-to jig. I'm big on the Beast Coast right now.
Beast Coast.
They got a Vanquish jig that I like a lot. They make a really good jig. Dirty Jigs makes a really good swim jig that I use.
I love Dirty Jig Swim Jig.
Yep. Greenfish making a lot of really good stuff. They got a Chibi jig, I think, with one of their Japanese guys. I think Shin Fuke, I'm pretty sure. But yeah.
I think it's Greenfish or Six Sense that makes one that is like a weedless hook swim jig. I got to start doing that a little bit more because apparently the hookup ratio is pretty good with that thing.
Yeah. The dirty jig is what I've always used. The hooks are super thick, so if you're not like doing the Alabama shake with 50-pound braid, there's no point in using it. Beast Coast makes a really good thin line swim jig, as well as they have that Gorilla, which has the big hook too.
That thing's a shark gaff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I go with 50 pound. That feels like OG kill, but I get where you're going at with that though.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I'm fishing it in lily pads with a mix of hydrilla. So.
Do you have hydrilla freaking on the chick?
Ton. Yeah, we have a ton, and it's more and more each year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can finally fish like I do, back up on the Potomac.
Yeah. Yeah, I think during the BPT we had a lot of guys punching it and doing stuff like that. Yeah, it's getting thick, and it's not dying over the winter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't checked it this year, but last year it was there all winter.
Is that in the Chick proper or on the Potomac? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Up north in the Chick, top of the river.
Do you ever leave the Chick?
Sometimes. Sometimes. Whenever I leave, I remember why I don't leave.
Well, yeah, but don't you ever feel like you're gonna get like, I don't know, too set in your ways mentally? Like, oh, okay, like I'm just fishing the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I think so, but I feel like every time I do that, I try to learn something different about like the spot within the spot, stuff like that. That's what Matt's really good at that. Matt will pick a place apart.
Which Matt? The McChicken?
Yes, both of them.
Yeah.
But fishing with Strikel, he can pick an area apart really well, and stuff that he's fished a lot, he can find new information about it all the time.
Let's see. We're gonna Tender Dickerson on Instagram says, Hunter, drop shot or shaky head?
Oh, drop shot all day.
Shaky head though, it seems for the trees, man.
Why not drop shot?
I don't have a good answer for you because I throw a drop shot all the time on Potomac, but I feel like the shaky head on tidal right now is on fire. Yeah. I've just been fishing it. I'd rather fish that than a jig, honestly, in a lot of situations.
We got some big bites on a shaky head this year. I mean, drop shot, you're always going to catch a ton of fish.
I guess it's a time of year, right?
It can be, yeah. I mean, both of those baits, you can catch fish on the Chick from March until October, January, whatever. But why not have both on the deck?
I should have both on the deck. That'd be more of a smart decision. But that's why you get paid the big bucks to fish, not me. Allegedly. No, dude, I've seen your boat, man. It's a freaking setup, man.
It's doing all right. I'm not done with it yet.
We gotta change up you gotta take my poles at some point. I might just sell my boat and be done with it, though.
Do it.
Honestly.
Do it. Let's raffle it off.
Yeah. Just to you.
We'll close the tickets off quick.
Because the talons, man, like I just am afraid like they're just not going to work great in like the tidal situation, which is what you're dealing with, right?
Yeah. They're definitely a lake thing, I think. They're a hard bottom thing. That's what it is. Like, they have a setting where it's a soft bottom setting, and they call it like a rough water setting. But the soft bottom, as soon as it touches anything, it stops. Rough water, it'll go down like 3 times. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't use them a ton, just because most of the time when I fish, I'm going into current. So if I put them down, I'm going to spin either way. So.
Do you have 2 or 1?
2.
2, yeah. So
Yeah.
why would you spin?
Still spin with talon.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. That's also using like that soft bottom feature. So it could be different if I like dug my poles into the ground, but it's so soft that I don't want to get them stuck or anything. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, that's at least what I've seen. But I also can use them in 12 feet. So it's like,
Well, and that's the thing is like where I fish, it's deeper. The average depth is like 10 to 12. So it's like, well, if I got the 15s, dude, it'd be nice to be able to just not have to be on the trolling motor when I'm scoping in those depths.
yeah. And I did that on Anna with Striker one time, which was cool. We were on a point that we just knew there was a ton of fish and like a brush pile, like 2 or 3 brush piles. And we pulled up on the shallow end and we were just scoping down and we caught like a ton of fish doing that. And it's super nice.
I think they can hear the trolling motor no matter how quiet
Yeah.
it is. And when you can like anchor and turn off the motor and just scope, man, they just, in like 5 to 10 minutes, man, they just get a lot more active on the screen. At least that's what I've seen.
Yeah. Fish are getting smarter.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I don't know.
No,
I've seen some dumb stuff.
No, dude, they're getting smarter there.
Yeah.
Let's see, we got Michael again. Here's a good question. Colorado blades or willow blades?
Depends on the water. Colorado usually
The
just
chick.
dirty water. I throw the spinnerbait I throw the most is that Megabass SV3, and I think it has a turtle blades or something. They're a little bit wider than a willow, but not as wide as they're like in between. But I don't know, it depends. If you want your bait moving fast, throw willow leaf. If you want it moving slow, use a Colorado.
Do you not like throwing Colorado blades?
I throw Colorado a lot.
Really?
Yeah. But who throws a spinnerbait anymore? All you need is a minnow.
Yeah, sadly, that's a hot ass take right there, boy.
No,
God
no,
damn.
no.
God damn, he's
Don't be
throwing
DMing
hands.
me. I throw a spinnerbait.
I don't throw a spinnerbait a lot though. Like I throw a chatterbait. Well, I'm learning to throw a chatterbait, swim jig primarily. It's so hard because you only have 2 hands, and you
Yeah.
look at the spinnerbait and the chatterbait, and it's like, when does one shine better than the other?
I've always thought wood is spinnerbait, grass is chatterbait. That's what I usually do.
But guys skip docks or chatterbaits.
Yeah, all the time. I throw a lot of spinnerbaits on the cypress trees and stuff.
Well, and Kerr. I mean, I had to mention this though. Like Kerr, people went all the time on a damn spinnerbait at Kerr for some reason. I don't know why that works there.
Oh, the freaking BFL that we were at last year, the guy went on a chatterbait.
That makes no sense.
Or someone did. But yeah. And it's like, what? There's no grass out there.
So why? Is there anything cool at this expo that you're seeing so far before I let you go?
Nah.
Nah,
Food.
nothing here. Food's
Yeah,
good.
Food. Boats are cool.
Oh, okay.
No, they're all cool. They're all cool. You're definitely seeing a little bit more JDM stuff. I saw dice. That was cool.
Damn.
Someone had dice. Yeah, I like talking to the boat dealers, seeing what they're up to. And then you got a lot of stuff like this, like the Virginia Bass Federation that does a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's a good show though. See what tomorrow brings.
We'll see what tomorrow brings. Should be a lot more busier than there is today. Jimbo says again, yeah. Dude, come on down, Jimbo. I'd love to meet with you guys. I'll have a meetup time between noon and I think 3 or 4 tomorrow. That way I won't be streaming. You can just come say hi. We'll be chilling. I'll be pulling this stuff out and there'll be a lot more chairs so we can just hang and relax and have a cooler. So it'll be a good time. When's your next video dropping?
So this time it wasn't my fault. I had 3 videos done, and then I deleted them all on accident. Trying
Lies.
to, I swear.
Lies.
You can look at my messages with Matt. We were both scrambling trying to find them. I tried, my MacBook doesn't really work, and then I tried clearing space on it, and I deleted the wrong Adobe,
Oh my God.
so it got rid of all my videos. So I got to re-edit them.
That's
like
why you were
2-3
asking me about the computer.
Give me like 2-3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh
I'll be
my
back.
God.
But I have videos to edit, which is nice. I have 3 Florida videos, and then I have 2 other videos that'll be part of a series that will be coming out soon.
That's nice. And then tournament-wise, what do you got coming up?
I'm not fishing much this year, at least planning on it. I'm going to fish English Choice with Matt, and then I'm just going to travel.
Ooh.
Go where I want to go.
Where do you want to go?
I'm going to go to New York for at least a week, and then that'll be in June. Just got back from Florida.
What do you have up in New York? You go there a bunch.
I got family up there.
So you got family in Tampa and New York?
I don't have any family in Tampa.
Okay.
I have family in Texas and New York.
Why aren't you going to Texas more, dude? There's great fishing there.
No, but I got to drag a boat.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I'm considering going to the Classic and dragging a boat.
That'd be cool.
I'm thinking about it. But that's a lot. That's like 20-something hours.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Well, New York is nice, but I mean...
New York will be like 8.
8 hours by yourself.
Florida took me 16.
Really? Damn.
I was in traffic from the end of North Carolina all the way to Georgia.
Did you go 95 all the way down?
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
I tried taking back roads and stuff. I ended up in like people's backyards. I ended up on a dirt road for like 13 miles. 1-lane dirt road. I was like, what am I doing? But that's what we do for bass.
No, that's what we do. That's what we do for bass.
Yeah, but it's gonna. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on like following a tournament schedule this year. I'm gonna try to post YouTube videos, but
You should.
just having fun, fishing new stuff. I've got trips I want to take and go where I want to go when I want to go.
Right on, dude. He's young. Go check him out, guys. Hunter, I really appreciate you coming on the show. If people want to follow you on your escapades, what is the name? Instagram, YouTube, all that jazz?
Instagram's Hunter Smith. I think I have a period in between T and H or something. And then YouTube's HPS Fishing, and Facebook is Hunter P. Smith. And the store is Fishing Protect. Don't forget that.
Fishing Protect.
That's why I'm here.
Do you have a website?
We have a website, fishingprotect.net, but best way is just call in or come by the store in Toano.
There you go, guys. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then this is what we're going to be doing, guys. What time does this place close? 7 o'clock. We're going to be taking a quick break, and we are going to, at 6 o'clock, we're going to try beta testing the live stream. What? It's
5:30, we have another one that we're going to beta test.
What do you mean 5:30? It's 5:47.
Oh, you're late.
For what?
Oh, it's your fault.
5:30.
What? Guys, we're taking a break. I don't know. My accountant, yeah, anyway, so we're taking a break, then we're trying the live stream feature again, and then we'll be back tomorrow with more live streams, I think. So, yeah, I'll check you guys here soon. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so much for waiting so long. I really appreciate it. Let me make sure I get this thing here. Donna, it likes to do this. All right, cool. Yep. So perfect. All right, cool. So this is the plan that we're going to be doing here. We are going to be shutting this stream down, and then we're going to be trying to do a little walkthrough segment this evening, looking at all the boats. We're going to try beta testing the software to see if we can get that to work. If it doesn't work, what we're going to try to do is do it tomorrow morning as well. So I have to go to the bathroom horrifically bad. I have not gone in a while, so I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then we're going to try to do this beta test real quick with the software. But first, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have the Basscast radio on because he's sitting right here. So before I go to the bathroom, why don't you hop on over there, dude? Come on. Get on over there. You've been waiting so long. Want to make sure I got this guy his fair dues because I mean this guy is the legend himself, Brian of the Basscast Radio. How are you doing tonight, sir? It's going good. It's going good, man. Yeah, that's probably.
I need this.
That's probably important, actually. Just
This
grab
thing
hold
right
of it
here?
and pull it. Just grab hold and pull it. Yeah, there you go.
How about that?
That's better.
What's
So,
up?
It's going good, man. How you been?
Good. It was a nice little trip down here today. So
How long of a drive was it for you?
a little about 2.
Okay,
So it ain't too far from the house.
that's not too
Hang out
bad.
with a bunch of good people. So see what's new in the world of bass fishing. And I don't want to be like someone else. There's nothing new, but there's some unique booze here this year. A lot of different booze. So it's good to see a fluctuation of different tackle, I guess you can kind of say. Mm-hmm. I guess see a few new people getting into the world as we watch the rest of them all get bought out.
Yeah, that's happening, isn't it?
It's happening too much in our industry right now, but it's it's pennies on the dollar, and right now the product's pretty daggone cheap.
What you got going on with the Basscast? Let's go with the website first. We talk about the podcast.
So right now the hot thing on the basscast.com is my best Virginia anglers for the year. I've only gotten one complaint, so I can't say it's not too bad this year. So that went up the other day. The 2025 tournament schedule. We haven't put it officially up on the website yet, guys, because we've been kind of we've got a lot more we want to add to the website when we put it up, because you guys will look once and won't look back till March. But we have been putting it up on social media for the schedule and where we'll be going out of the Smith Mountain Lake State Park. So really excited to be a part of that. But yeah, 2025 is going to be another rocking year in the world of bass fishing. It's like the controversy has already began.
Yeah, what's the biggest controversy that you're seeing right now?
Well, we had that one issue. I think Fisher's a men event. We had the I don't want to really say it wasn't cheating. Just the guy, he fished outside of the date. He's a guide, and he fished outside of the date. If I remember correctly, that's all what happened, and he failed the lie detector test. But other than that, I mean, season's just started. South Carolina, I think, starts up the end of this month. A lot of South Carolina events will start this month, and then over the next few weeks, they'll be in Virginia as we get through the expo season right here.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And you're looking at, the professionals are also starting pretty shortly.
Yeah.
Like, when does the open season start?
I got a press release from that yesterday, so I have a feeling that usually about a week out, so probably in about 2 weeks, the open start and the college starts. So
Does college start really then? Dang, it does actually.
Yeah. So we're really getting, the season's getting ready to get fired up. If you guys go to the basscast.com, the press releases are up there from the past week. But that's all that's happening around the site. I mean, it's been pretty daggone good. We're ready.
What's going on with your tournament schedule?
Well, we're still got to fish the 3 to qualify for our championship in December. March 8th is our first one going out of Smith Mountain Lake. And we're going to change it, not really changing that much, but we're going to change a few things about the way you pay this year. And I don't want to dive too much into it. We're in a different world, and we're having to adjust. We're having to adjust to it, and I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to adjust as well, because about everybody's doing it, and we're one of the last ones to kind of catch on. So we've tried to kind of play the nice role, the little small tournament series role. And in 2025, we're going to have to kind of bump it up a little bit. So, but yeah, so things are good.
What do you got going on with the radio?
Dude, we're week by week on that radio. I ain't gonna lie. We have a great time with the radio show, me, Thomas, and Geek. I am blessed to have met Thomas on top of that. I mean, really, and, you know, just, how you want to say it, going to shows. I met Geek at a show. I met you at a show. I mean, it's just, like I tell people, go to a damn show. You don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to talk to, what's going to happen, and how much your life can be changed at a freaking expo. And guys, tonight is your night. You should be here right now. These people are bored out of their mind. It's really slow. It's a Friday night. But you could be talking to someone here tonight. You know, it could be your next sponsor. I mean, while you're sitting at home watching TV or taking your wife out to dinner, whatever you're doing, you know, tomorrow's going to be packed and slammed. I mean, this place is going to be wall, treetop tall, as someone else says. So, I mean, but tonight, you know, you should be here tonight. And like I said, bring your family out. I know what is this, another hour and a half?
They put it on the back of our badges. 7 o'clock, yeah. So we got about 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hustle on, guys. Come on over here. Again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be turning this broadcast off while they're... Did you want me to turn this broadcast off and try a new one, or you want to try it on this one?
Make a break. Try this. Yeah.
All right. Did you have the link? I'm pretty sure I did send you a link. All right. So, guys, this is what we're going to do. We are going to try one last time to do a live stream here, mobile. We do not have Mr. Elon Musk's Starlink, so we're going to do the best that we can with what we got here. And we're going to be going back to you. I'm going to try to get Jared over here real quick to help us with the walking around stuff. But if you don't hear from me, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. before we do the meet and greet. So, yeah, stay tuned, and we will talk to you guys later on Fishing the DMV. Bye.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your hosts, Thomas Ahrens and Jared Mounts. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Testing.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's bad. I think it's streamer. It's causing the problem.